Match the following. Constitutional features and sources. Correct answer. D. 3241. The Constitution names our country as. Correct answer. B. India, that is Bharat. Which part of the Constitution incorporates special provisions with regard to the state of Jammu and Kashmir? Correct answer. D. Part 21. Who administers the oath of office to the President? Correct answer. A. Chief Justice of India. Which of the following features does the Indian Constitution borrow from the Weimar Constitution of Germany? Correct answer. D. Provisions concerning the suspension of fundamental rights during national emergency. What is the minimum permissible age for employment in any factory or mine? Correct answer. B. 14 years. Which article of Indian Constitution prescribes Hindi in Devanagari script as the official language of the Union? Correct answer. C. 343. An individual who is not a member of either House of Parliament can be appointed a member of the Council of Ministers, but he has to become a member of either house within a period of. Correct answer. D. 6 months. Match the following. Constitutional features and sources. Correct answer. B. 4321. Which of the following is not a condition for becoming a citizen of India? Correct answer. B. Acquiring property. Part 5 of the Constitution deals with. Correct answer. D. All of the above. Which one of the following does not constitute the Electoral College for electing the President of India? Correct answer. D. Elected members of the Legislative Council. Which of the following features and their source is wrongly matched? Correct answer. A. Judicial review, British practice. Note: judicial review is borrowed from the US Constitution. Citizenship provisions are enshrined in the Constitution in. Correct answer. B. Part 2. Articles 5 to 11. Match the following. Parts and provisions. Correct answer. D. 4123. The 5-year term of the President is calculated from the. Correct answer. C. Day he assumes charge. The Constitution of India borrowed the scheme of Indian Federation from the Constitution of. Correct answer. B. Canada. Which of the following articles describes about the person voluntarily acquiring citizenship of a foreign state not to be citizens? Correct answer. D. Article 9. National emergency has been declared so far. Correct answer. C. Thrice. If the President wants to resign from office, he may do so by writing to the. Correct answer. A. Vice President. The inspiration of liberty, equality and fraternity was derived from. Correct answer. B. French Revolution. To acquire citizenship by registration, a person must have been resident in India for immediately before making an application. Correct answer. D. 7 years. A proclamation of emergency issued under Article 352 must be approved by the Parliament within. Correct answer. A. 1 month. The minimum age required for becoming the Prime Minister of India is. Correct answer. A. 25 years. Which of the following describes India as a secular state? Correct answer. D. Preamble to the Constitution. Which of the following rights was described by Dr. B.R. Ambedkar as the heart and soul of the Constitution? Correct answer. D. Right to constitutional remedies. Proclamation of emergency under Article 352, when Lok Sabha stands dissolved, has to be approved by. Correct answer. A. Rajya Sabha. And then will continue till the reconstitution of new Lok Sabha, which must approve it within 30 days of its first sitting. The President of India is. Correct answer. D. Supreme Commander of Defence Forces of the Union and Executive Head of the Union. Which of the following is not a basic feature of the Indian Constitution? Correct answer. A. Presidential government. Protection of the interests of the minorities is envisaged in which of the following articles? Correct answer. C. 29. The President's rule in a state means that the state is ruled by. Correct answer. D. The Governor of the state. The President can be removed by the way of impeachment, which can be made only. Correct answer. C. By the members of Lok Sabha and Rajya Sabha through impeachment. The Constitution of India is designed to work as a unitary government. Correct answer. B. In times of emergency. On whom does the Constitution confer special responsibility for the enforcement of fundamental rights? Correct answer. B. Supreme Court. The provision for Contingency Fund of India as well as for each states has been made under. Correct answer. A. Article 267. Which of the following appointments is not made by the President of India? Correct answer. A. Speaker of the Lok Sabha. From which of the countries Constitution of India has adopted fundamental duties? Correct answer. C. Erstwhile USSR. Under which article of the Constitution are the cultural and educational rights granted? Correct answer. C. Article 29 and 30. The President's rule is imposed for the period of. Correct answer. B. 6 months. Note: initially approved for 6 months, can be extended. Minimum age required to contest for presidentship is. Correct answer. B. 35 years. The Indian Constitution is regarded as. Correct answer. D. Federal in form and unitary in spirit. Which of the following is not specifically mentioned in Article 19 of the Constitution? Correct answer. D. Freedom of the press. Note: it is implicitly protected under Article 19, 1A, during the proclamation of national emergency. Correct answer. B. Articles 20 and 21 cannot be suspended. In case a president dies while in office, the vice president can act as president for a maximum period of. Correct answer. D. 6 months. The Indian Constitution has borrowed the ideas of preamble from the. Correct answer. D. Constitution of USA. Right to constitutional remedies comes under. Correct answer. A. Fundamental right. Anglo-Indian representatives in the Lok Sabha are nominated in terms of the article? Correct answer. A. 331. Note: this provision was repealed by the 104th Amendment Act, 2019. Who can initiate impeachment proceedings against the President of India? Correct answer. D. Either House of Parliament. India opted for a federal form of government because of. Correct answer. C. Linguistic and regional diversity. Indian Constitution recognizes minorities on the basis of. Correct answer. A. Religion. Note: the Constitution recognizes both religious and linguistic minorities. The President takes an oath before assuming office in the presence of the Chief Justice of India. If the Chief Justice is not available, he takes the oath in the presence of. Correct answer. B. The senior-most judge of the Supreme Court. The word socialist secular and unity and integrity of the nation were added to our Constitution by. Correct answer. A. 42nd Amendment of the Constitution. Article 16, 4A, which gives power to the state to make laws regarding reservation in favor of scheduled castes and tribes, was added by. Correct answer. B. 77th Amendment of the Constitution. The President of India does not has the power of. Correct answer. D. Qualified veto. The correct nomenclature of India according to the preamble is. Correct answer. C. Sovereign, socialist, secular, democratic republic. Untouchability is abolished and its practice is punishable according to. Correct answer. C. Article 17. An ordinance promulgated by the President. Correct answer. C. Must be laid before Parliament when it reassembles. The preamble of our Constitution. Correct answer. A. Is a part of the Constitution. Right to education is a fundamental right emanating from right to. Correct answer. C. Life and personal liberty under Article 21. The executive authority of the Union is vested by the Constitution in the. Correct answer. B. President. Under Article 368, Parliament has no power to repeal fundamental rights because they are. Correct answer. D. Part of basic structure of essential framework of the Constitution. Which of the following Chief Justices of India has acted as President of India? Correct answer. A. M. Hidayatullah. Regarding equality before law, the Indian Constitution makes exceptions in the case of. Correct answer. A. The President or a Governor. Mark the correct response. Correct answer. A. It is the duty of the Prime Minister to communicate all decisions of the Council of Ministers to the President whenever he requires. The right to constitutional remedies in India is available to. Correct answer. B. All persons in case of infringement of any fundamental right. The fundamental right to blank has been deleted by the blank Amendment Act. Correct answer. B. Property, 44th. The pardoning power given to the President of India under Article 72 can be exercised. Correct answer. C. At any time before, during or after the trial. Separation of the judiciary from the executive is enjoined by. Correct answer. B. Directive principle. The only President of India who was elected unopposed is. Correct answer. C. Neelam Sanjeeva Reddy. Which part of the Constitution deals with the directive principles of state policy? Correct answer. B. Part 4. The only instance when the President of India exercised his power of veto related to the. Correct answer. C. Indian Post Office Amendment Bill. Which of the following is not a directive principle of the state policy? Correct answer. B. To develop the scientific temper. Note: this is a fundamental duty under Article 1951A. Who acts as the President of India when neither the President nor the Vice President is available? Correct answer. B. Chief Justice of India. Directive principles are. Correct answer. D. Not justifiable or justiciable, yet fundamental in governance of the country. Appointment of the members of the Council of Ministers is made by the President. Correct answer. A. On the advice of the Prime Minister. Fundamental duties enacted in Part 4A of the Constitution are. Correct answer. D. No more than meant to create psychological consciousness among the citizens and of education value. The position of the Vice President of India resembles, to a great extent, the position of the Vice President of. Correct answer. A. USA. Which one of the following amendments accorded precedence to directive principle over fundamental rights? Correct answer. C. 42nd Amendment. The Vice President's letter of resignation is to be addressed to the. Correct answer. C. President. In which part of the Constitution the concept of welfare state finds elaboration? Correct answer. D. Directive principles. Who has the authority to remove the Vice President from his office before the expiry of his term? Correct answer. C. Parliament. Note: the resolution is initiated in the Rajya Sabha and requires the agreement of the Lok Sabha. Which of the following is correct about the fundamental duties? Correct answer. A. 1, 2 and 3. Which one of the following resigned as Vice President to contest for the office of the President? Correct answer. B. V.V. Giri. The total number of fundamental duties mentioned in the Constitution is. Correct answer. C. 11. When the Chairman of Rajya Sabha acts as President, the duties of the Chairman are performed by. Correct answer. C. The Deputy Chairman, who elects the Vice President. Correct answer. C. An electoral college consisting of members of Parliament. The Union Council of Ministers consists of. Correct answer. D. Cabinet Ministers, Ministers of State and Deputy Ministers. The portfolios are allocated to the ministers by. Correct answer. B. The Prime Minister. The salary and perquisites of the Prime Minister of India are decided by the. Correct answer. C. Parliament. In the event of the resignation or death of the Prime Minister. Correct answer. A. The ministry is dissolved. The Prime Minister is. Correct answer. C. Appointed by the President. The Prime Minister. Correct answer. D. May do all the above. Collective responsibility of the Cabinet was introduced in India by the. Correct answer. D. Constitution of India.